And I saw this graphic earlier this morning from Buffalo Fanatics. And I got to tell you, man, I thought about this for a good 10 to 15 minutes of what player on the Buffalo Bills doesn't get enough love. And this is a topic of conversation that is brought up on a regular basis, particularly during this time of the year leading up to training camp. And I look back and I try and rewind a few years ago. And I think last year was Benford. Definitely was one of the players that I feel like none of us appreciated enough. Year before, I would probably say it was Bernard. Long time ago was probably Matt Milano as a very underrated player. Now we have a new conversation. Khalil Shakir. We have our good friend Alec Anderson. And hold my beer here for a second because I'm about to go off on Alec Anderson in a good way. Followed by Taylor Rapp, safety that not a lot of people like to give credit to. And then obviously Terrell Bernard. So I would like to go over all four of them and their contributions so I could give you my take on who I think it is. And then I would also love to hear everybody in the chat to give me their idea. So starting off with Khalil Shakir, is he disrespected? 110%. I cannot tell you how many times I'm scrolling through X and I see a wide receiver ranking. Whether or not it's PFF or whether or not that it's some aggregate account that I'm sure all of us are all too familiar with, very oftentimes he is listed as like the 22nd, 23rd, 24th wide receiver in the NFL. It's borderline disrespectful. We are talking about a guy that is regularly in the top 3 as a yards after the catch type receiver, flirts with 1,000 yards each and every single season. And many people have the false narrative or so the false reasoning method of not ranking him higher because, quote unquote, he is a slot. Ladies and gents, I have some news for you. There are several wide receivers in this league that are considered a number 1 wide receiver that predominantly go out of the slot. For example, Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions is the largest piece of low-hanging fruit that I could put in comparison. However, most underappreciated on this team, we are talking about people, or we are talking about players that Bills Mafia does not appreciate enough. So I'm not going to put Shakir. He is beloved amongst the fan base. He is not it. Taylor Rapp is interesting. Taylor Rapp is damn interesting, right? We have all been complaining about our safety room. I think a lot of it is geared and put toward, of course, Hamlin, because we had to start Hamlin as free safety. And y'all know my thoughts on Damar Hamlin. I think he's not as bad as everyone likes to imagine that he is. But then again, and so I'm not going to say that he's a top 30 safety in this league either. He's certainly a quality safety if push comes to shove and we need to start somebody. I trust him filling in if necessary. But Rapp is that dude. Rapp is that dude. 4 interceptions last year. Incredible tackler. Still young. And in my opinion, I think that we do not give this guy enough credit. He has made play after play after play for us, and very oftentimes during very important games in key situations. Love this guy. And next year we need to start having conversations, right? Because I do want to say that he has 2 more years on his deal. Somebody correct me if I am incorrect or wrong within the chat. But I mean, look, he's a quality safety, and he has been integral in the development of Cole Bishop. And I really hope that when it's time for Cole Bishop to take over, that he can mimic what Rapp has been for the Buffalo Bills. I think one of the biggest concerns for him is his propensity to get injured. That's something out there, but we will see. And then next up would be Terrell Bernard. I mean, look, I feel like all of us certainly appreciate this guy, especially when you think about, hey, Bernard, he was the guy all of us were worried about when Edmonds signed with the Chicago Bears a couple of years back. We had no idea who was going to be our starting linebacker, but then Bernard steps in and he becomes better than Edmonds, way more productive in coverage and also in run defense. He's an absolute dog. I do wish, though, I do wish that he would also stay a bit more healthy because he has missed a couple of games throughout his career already. Maybe he's just playing a little too big. He's playing a little too big for his actual size. Who knows? But love him. I'm not putting him on my list. I'm going to have to tell you who I truly think is the most underappreciated player on this team based off of this graphic. That has to be Alec Anderson for me. And don't believe me, just look at the contract that he received this offseason for an extension for this team of how much value he truly brings to this offensive line. This offensive line led the league top 3 in run blocking, in pass protection. And when I tell you that watching our offensive line create as many running lanes for James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson last year, variety of gap run schemes, zone run schemes, this is a symphony. This is a symphony of athletic talent on the offensive line. And somebody that I think is a big piece and a solid insurance policy has to be Alec Anderson. He is our 6th man. When Buffalo goes out there and runs jumbo packages, extra offensive linemen, or if somebody is hurt and Alec Anderson needs to fill in on the interior, backup center, he can play at left guard. He can play at right guard. This guy is so important. And I got to tell you, we lucked out last year for having a relatively healthy offensive line consistently. We lucked out even more by seeing these players come back. We have a returning offensive line compared to the 2024 season, an O-line that was top 5 in both categories. The least sacked quarterback in the NFL. And I got to tell you what, without Alec Anderson, I'm not so sure that we would have been able to achieve those feats. So bar none, man, it's Alec Anderson for me. He is a damn player on this team. I sound like Sean McDermott. We have some players on this team that is a big piece to this offense, and we need to start giving him a bit more credit. Guys, buy an Alec Anderson jersey this year and show some love to the big men up front. All right, we have Cheryl back.